lose in Charlotte, and then a disappointing result in Berlin prevented them from making deep runs. But here they are, not having lost a map in ages. It was CES the last time they lost a map. And they're on what? It's an 18 match win streak. Is just phenomenal. These are two Titans going head to head. W7M, the only team ever since the institution of this new system to go 6-0, undefeated in the groups, and it was very well deserved.
No, it was. I mean, I see people putting up things like, is W7M on a statistical streak on the level of G2 back in their prime? Because they do not lose very frequently, but the thing is, they've also yet to win a big international event. Sure, in Berlin they fell short, but they fell short to FaZe, a domestic matchup where they know each other so well, and W7M has said it themselves, if they can avoid FaZe at this event, they expect to go far. And in that player interview with Julio before this match started, he said, Liquid, they have no chance in this particular matchup because W7M, they're coming out with so much confidence from groups. They're going to take that with them, carry it forward, and start off things strong on Clubhouse.
Great synergy as we launch into the server on Clubhouse. The first bomb site will be upstairs on gym and bedroom. Team Liquid starting on defense. Operator bans. Double hard breachers.
Again.
And a Maverick ban is an interesting one. Not the usual hard breacher that we see removed from action on this map. What do you think would lead Liquid to take Maverick out of play?
Honestly, my expectation here is that Liquid wanted to ban Kaid themselves to make sure that the breach is always easy to get through. And then they say, well, if the Kaid is banned, it's like, well, we can also just remove Maverick and make things harder for the attackers to burn through for sure, and play around the bandit tricks and the mute jammers, for example. And we see resets in this first opening round showcasing that bandit. And now W7M, they have to problem solve around it. You can't just map the wall, you gotta either go below it a grenade, use EMPs, verticality, etc., or use Sophia stuns. And W7M, they haven't brought much utility for like structure things to open up the breach, but they brought Casey on that armor with that fast, aggressive gameplay, and Volbs on the Ying to enable that push. This could be a very fast and explosive first round. I mean, this first exothermic charge could start things off right here.
We saw that barricade go down. Downstairs on the double doors, that allows the roam to happen from Team Liquid on the main floor. It is indeed a shotgun.
I'm sure they're gonna rush this. There's no way.
I mean, if you've got the shotgun there, the thought process would be that you wanna...
Nah, he's not going for it.
JV having some difficulty with that exothermic charge. One of the Kiba barriers going towards the drone hole.
Yep, you gotta punch it out, it is clear, then throw a grenade. It's a lot of things to do right now, and it's burning down the clock.
It was very risky though. There's some damage done to JV in the process, holding onto this exothermic charge. He doesn't have information that the bandit has fallen off of this position, so you can get it down and not worry about any tricking that will happen. Julio sending in a grenade just for good measure as KZ on the window takes out Ask, and we find the very first kill of this series.
Yes, I mean, shotgun the window, that's something that we don't see very often. Liquid they do have CCTV control, but no one's there to swing the windows. They're playing it rather safe. They are a methodical team going through those 1, 2, 3 steps, and I worry for them because if W7M can find the leverage right now and just overpower Liquid on this side, that's when they find their comfort zone and all that confidence. They can burst through these rounds so rapidly. Liquid, they have to shut them down early.
Oh, there's also a read now from the drone work of W7M that nobody's inside of construction. Ying Candela's going off. KZ with a flash up to the top of the main stairs. And now one onto the landing too. KZ will go in with Supernova in hand, and a shot or two is all that it's going to take. Stop for a second, swung out on. It's the shotgun from Liquid to hit its marks. 3 kills for Team Liquid as W7M's entry is successfully halted for now. Julio and Herds are the last two standing from W7M, and they managed to get resets. Who pops up towards weight room. Patience from W7M rewarded. Final 30 seconds to go. Palu holding one angle onto the window. That early read on construction for W7M was that it is wide open, but there's a player right now sitting on that Logi wall. Hertz will come fist to fist, and it's Nesk. Hard-pressed to imagine a more formidable opponent. Nesk gets a second kill, and it's all up to Julio, one of the most experienced players in all of Brazil. But he goes up against the menace that is Palu, and Team Liquid takes round number 1.
Beautiful crossfire from Liquid. They had every single angle covered. I mean, the swing from Lagonis on the main stairs, shutting down Casey on the Amaru, that really snowballed things from there because that's the initial entry that they wanted and that they needed. And once that got stopped, I mean, they had no other real way into that bomb side. It's a good start for them. It's gonna set the tone. The way W7M plays is extremely explosive, very aggressive, and hard to deal with. And if it starts working, it can be so hard for any opponent against them to find a way back into the server. And Team Liquid, very methodical, very slow. They play the ABCs, the 1-2-3s. There's two ways they can go about this. They can either expect the aggression because they know W7M so well, and they've studied them, they've seen all their games in this tournament, and they can try and punish the aggression by playing slow and passive, holding angles, expecting them to swing them. Or, the other thing they can do, they can match the aggression. We all know that Paolo and Nesk, two of the most lethal players in Rainbow Six Siege history, they can tune things up to 11 and match the aggression from someone like KC, for example. But the way that Team Liquid plays as a team overall, that's not really how they like to do things. So it's two very different ways they approach this matchup so far. And I'll argue that W7M, they rely more on individual gun skill and individual performances than Liquid, which isn't necessarily the most consistent way to play the game, but it's worked so well for them throughout this entire tournament and frankly, the entirety of this year.
So late setup now with 20 seconds off of the clock. Beautiful, beautiful bomb site rotation for the moment, and that late setup from the Mira window might not have been all that impactful. It's answered by the Selmas of JV, tossed onto the wall. Directly under the Mira window. Means that the defenders can't play off of that position, but can still see through it at different angles.
Yeah, I think there's something missing in the setup there. No jammer, no bandit charge on the wall, means it just falls early on. Good drone work from W7M. They're taking things slower this time around. Not sure what the opening is going to be. It's a basement roam, strips reinforced, top floors reinforced, mirror windows. I think it's wise to take the time out and figure out what is the path of least resistance. Could be dirt. Walls are soft, you have a Bach, Volps making his way in. Needs to drone it out because if the shotgun member is in any of those corners, you will get shut down. The drone on the side says it's clear. What he does not know is that Gonis has snuck past the drone. He can push up, or he can wait.
Well, there's some worry of Team Liquid about W7M taking the basement on this map. That's why you saw that reinforcement go down, or the barricade rather, put onto the doorway in the previous round. Beautiful shot from Ask. That finds JV. The ace is no more for W7M, and it's an opening pick that Team Liquid will hope to hold on to for quite some time. KZ in pursuit though, but at this point, Liquid have managed to scoot away from their position. It gives KZ an opportunity to work his way down towards blue. He hears the shotgun blasts go. KZ in a very tough position. There's a Black Mirror staring him down, and Liquid picks up their second kill. A third follows. Resets the one to claim that on the Herds. Julio in a very familiar spot with Volps up as well. No casualties for Liquid with 45 seconds left. Oh my. Scout, oh, he does good work, but that's it for Volps. Dropped with Julio far enough away that there will be no retrieval, and it's a secure from Nesk.
Julio again, last man standing. It's gonna suck. Resets, wins the gunfight. Liquid again, they're playing just really slow Rainbow Six Siege because they know that problem solving is not necessarily the strength of W7M when they are on the attacking side. But I am curious to see how this progresses because W7M on defense are so good as well at creating problems for the enemy to solve. And this is just the strength of the starting side of Rainbow Six Siege. When you go on defense, especially in map number 1, you can kind of just relax into the server, do your default setup that you've studied on paper, that you've prepared, and then you just see what the enemy is going to do, and then you react upon that. It's much harder to be on the attacking side because you gotta gain information, then communicate that across all 5 members as you have a drone each, and then gotta make the right decision time and time again throughout the round, and so many small things can go the wrong way. I mean, look back to our previous round. Let's say Resets loses that opening kill engagement. That entire round looks very different for Liquid because they lose map control and they lose the numbers advantage. Let's say Casey walks down blue stairs and kills the Gonis inside of dirt. Well, again, the round is very different. So Liquid, they're playing a very tight game of Rainbow Six Siege, but if one thing does not go the way they need it to, it can fall apart really quickly. It's gonna be CCTV now, statistically the worst bomb site on this map. Played 23 times over 12 maps of Clubhouse with a 39% win rate for defenders. It is abysmal. So they gotta show us what they got. The Bandit, of course, being brought up by Paolo. Again, the Maverick ban in full effect right now. If Maverick's open, the Bandit does not matter. It will quite literally not make a difference. But because they've banned this particular operator, they can now play around those hard walls. And I mean, Garage is soft, but they're still forcing out Heartbeat utility. And that's kind of scores. One Selma left, 2 exothermic charges, and Paolo can trick this wall. This is not going to be easy for them to open up unless they can get downstairs and use a grenade or some sort of utility.
JV's got 3 of those breaches as well on his Thatcher. Could have absolutely been used on the soft walls.
So does Hurts, the ace who used his Selma charges.
I mean, you have to assume that the reason why they applied it where they did was to just open up that angle that leads up to the top of Rafters.
Wrong wall.
A very common spot. Selmas are defeated by the Bandit battery of Palu, but the exothermic charge is not. That B-bomb wall has now been opened up. Volps is waiting to see if there's a jump or a run out over towards Jim. Resets could be greeted.
Big decision-making time here for W7M. They have 4 grenades. They've spent 1 of those, so 3 left in pocket. That kind of shows us it's going to be a garage attack because that's where you want those grenades to go. But you can still go master bedroom. It's not too late. You still have 1 more exothermic charge in pocket. You can open up 1 more area of the map if you want to. And garage, well, you're playing up against just the 1 mine, but also the Asami. Look at those keeper barriers. It's going to allow Ask so much freedom on the catwalk rafters that unless a grenade takes him out, I do not see how he's going to fall in this position.
Ask decides to get a little bit aggressive. Very slow round so far, no explosiveness just yet. The Selma did open up a small window, and Ask misses out on an opportunity. 2 quick kills from Liquid. He decides to engage towards the door, but doesn't find anything. Herds tries to keep that number a little bit closer than it was just seconds before, but still Team Liquid successful by getting that first pick.
Yeah, but as dropping down, there's a big question mark for him because you killed both the Sledge and Iana. There's no more grenades from W7M. You can hide on catwalk rafters the entire round. Neski tries to make the play, but it goes punished instead.
They still got that threat as Palu right now is in a position to do some serious damage. It's gonna lose one of the walls leading to the top of garage rafters. That's Julio using the exothermic charge. Palu sees one inside of construction. That call out will be made. Takes out Julio. 2 for Palu. It's a triple, baby. W7M walks into the Monster's waiting arms, and it is just rhythmic to watch him go. Team Liquid complete the cycle. They're up 3-0.
I think I figured out exactly what Liquid's gonna do. They're gonna start off with their conventional, methodical style of Rainbow Six Siege, and if things go bad, you tell Nesk and Paolo to just go kill the opposition, right? Nesk swung aggressively, got 2 kills that round. Then Paolo has Barbed Wire on the Bandit, which I'm a huge fan of, by the way, because I always talk about Barbed Wire versus C4 value. But in that particular round, 3 versus 3, they had no Toxic Babes, they had no C4, they had no vertical control. They have to find picks by playing aggressive and winning gunfights. Paolo and Team Liquid, they recognize that. And then so Paolo go kill, he gets all 3 of them and shuts down what looked to be a very good round for W7M. And with this being down 0-3, it's gonna force a tactical timeout. We gotta figure things out. Remember, W7M, they're not used to playing from behind. I mean, they went flawless in groups. 6-0, all victories in regulation. The most amount of rounds that they lost was 5 rounds against BDS twice. It was 2 7-5 victories for them. They beat Fury 7-3, 7-3. SSG 7-3, 7-2. It was really straightforward games, so they pretty much always had the round lead and the advantage, and they never had to really take these moments to say, boys, this isn't working, we're losing, what do we gotta change? Then they went into quarterfinals against Black Dragons. It was a 2-0, and excuse my language, but they slaughtered Black Dragons. It wasn't even close.
What are you excusing?
I hate speaking poorly about a different team. It's not because Black Dragons played poorly, but it's like W7M played so well that it was just a slaughter in a match that was very competitive or should have been very competitive. So I'm trying not to hurt Black Dragons' feelings because they absolutely deserved to go to quarterfinals and they played well, but they were not a match for W7M.
5 seconds to go.
It's an early timeout to burn, but when you go down 3-0,
it's gotta be done.
It absolutely has to be. This is W7M's map as well. They played it in groups against BDS with a 7-5 victory. Oh, KZ shows Ass the inside of his own head. A nice reflexive shot. W7M with an extremely early pick.
Oh yeah. I mean, the rounds, they've been slow for W7M, but they just bought themselves 20 to 30 seconds on the clock with that opening kill. And more importantly, it's the Asami. Only 2 keeper barriers could have gone out if both were used. That means that there is so much utility from Liquid that they're going to have to play without in this round. They also have the 1 mile of Nesk, so things are slowly charging up. The faster W7M can execute, the better it'll be for them. Or easier, rather, it'll be for them.
Oh. Really rough to lose that operator so early on. It's the utility that's going to hurt a lot. Not to mention the fact that everybody on Liquid is at present a threat. Palu is the only player in the server without a death just yet. W7M will need to reduce that in order to get a round on the board. Resets will lose some of the protection onto that bathroom wall as one of the Rotero drones from KZ blows it open. And now it looks like that CCTV wall will be opened up as well with the exothermic charge from Julio being placed. Both of those hard destruction gadgets have been used by the Thermite.
Yeah.
Do they still have any Selmas left on Herds? That is the question. Yes, they do. 1 left to be applied.
Yep. So again, they got all the pieces that they want. 2 grenades, they got Rotero drones, EMPs, Heartbreach, Palu with the timing.
Oh my!
Kill.
5-0 for Palu.
He's hunting.
There's yet another nearby. JV engaging, does almost all of Palu's HP, still holding this position. JV inside of CCTV. Palu scampered off, but he sees the gun barrel through the floor, and he can do serious damage with the impact. It's a shrewd play, but Volps hands Palu his very first death, not before Palu brings 2 of the W7M players down with him.
It's massive value. He slows down W7M, he gains information, he gets stature and the ace, so no more Heartbreach or EMPs. Now the bombs that execute, all you have are 2 grenades and 6 flashbangs. No smokes, no Rotero drones. Liquid are in a stable position to fight this 3-3, and with only 30 seconds left, they should have this one if they can play those numbers.
There's a nade from below, not in the right area code. A second one from Volps. Will go down in a very conventional spot. 20 seconds left. Lagonis used both of his toxic canisters and now sustains some serious damage. KZ inside of Jim, he's shut down. Ness cannot outduel Julio. These two have battled time and time again. Only 10 seconds to go in a 2v2. Resets holding this position. It's from construction where we see W7M come. Julio vaults in, resets, ends him. Volps running out of time. Well, the timeouts seem to put W7M in better position, but it's a game of inches as Team Liquid goes up 4-0.
I mean, I don't want to say that Palu is carrying Team Liquid, but he's doing a lot of work for them. Again, they don't get what they want in the first minute and a half, so Palu takes it upon himself to say, I will return us into a stable position. The flank gets the initial kill to ace, then he goes back downstairs, plays a very patient game of cat and mouse, sees the gun barrel, and instead of risking that kill going away or losing the gun battle with 1 HP, he goes with a direct impact grenade, either guaranteeing the injure or the kill, or he'll gain damage plus vision to then shoot the toes of that member. And Team Liquid, again, such a formidable team and coming so close so many times. What is this? Where is Pingu? Oh, it's a fun fact. If Pingu's ever late to school, he'd rather skip the entire day than to show up late and feel the eyes of his schoolmates as he entered the room. These days, he's always late to rehearsals. I'm not late to rehearsals ever. Parker, please back me up here.
Yeah, that's actually true.
No, it's not true.
No, it's true that you've never been late to rehearsals.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Let's go what? There you go.
There you go. Let's go, Liquid. Come on!
The audience will decide who they want to cheer for. You can't spur them into
just
action.
helping them along. You started this whole boo because of Skinergy at the Charlotte Major. Do not get me started on controlling the crowd.
I did that one time and it took off.
It took off like a whirlwind.
I lost control of the monster.
Absolutely did.
One time I said, oh, they don't have the same skins on, boo them. And then it just did not stop. Yeah, I did. I lost control of the monster. Another way.
So what did we learn? Don't try and contain the monster in the first place?
Don't create the monster.
Don't create the monster. That's also good.
We're just getting a quick rehost under our belts, and then we'll be back into the action. 4-0 for Team Liquid. Timeout burned by W7M. We have not seen a bar stage defense from TL yet. Though it is a bomb site that shows up with great frequency. We saw it in that BDS Sonics match that happened just a little while before this.
I think there's, like, to my side of things, there's a very big reason for why we don't see Bar. And it's because that Bar is the most, like, gun-oriented, brawl-out fight bomb site on Clubhouse, so you cannot really force utility and cohesion as much as Basement, CCTV, and Gym. So again, with the operator bands being both Hibana and Maverick and Kaid, you bring the Bandit on the 2 top floors to trick the walls. On Basement, they bring the Mirror up both the first time and this round as well. Look at Liquid's lineup. It's pure utility. 1 Mine Magnet, Smoke Canisters, C4s, Banshee so nobody can sneak on in, and Mirror Windows. And they don't just bunker on the bomb side to allow W7M to get comfortable, they extend everywhere on the map. Strip side, Jacuzzi, CCTV, Lagonis is playing in third. There's no real easy path for W7M, and we saw in the previous Basement round, they had no clue as to what they wanted to do, or how they wanted to proceed in the round, and to make things even more difficult, we're reinforcing the blue hatch and the bar hatch, so you can't just rush down if you get a little bit of map control. You have to fight those staircases, and that's again where Nesk's Banshees from the Melusi and the Mirror Window towards blue, they come into play. So Clubhouse, for this opening map for W7M, playstyle-wise, I don't feel like it really favors them. It's why Liquid are finding themselves in such a comfortable position, being up 4-0, while also playing extremely good Rainbow Six Siege, of course.
Talk about this utility work. Previous defense of this bomb site. Back in round number 2, Team Liquid extended all the way up to the top floor using those black mirrors on Mira to waste some time and waste some utility. The attackers having to expend hard breach just to open up a clearer path to that top floor is integral for Liquid.
They faked the row. There's no one here. Same setup, but just with the mute jammers.
I mean, they don't know that yet.
They don't know. We know that. But look at the clock. It's been a minute. No one's inside the building. And all you did was run upstairs, reinforce some walls, put down some jammers. This is basically what we call like the SSG roam strat. We do like the mute in the Mossy and the castle. But they did it with the bomb site being even stronger because they only did anything on the top floor. The first floor was left untouched. So they have so much more utility for the bomb site itself. But they bought the time. Half round almost gone. And we haven't breached any of the hatches yet.
How quick to pivot will they be now that they realize that all 5 players from Liquid should be down below? All 4 make that. Ask is the first one to die. Both black mirrors have at least been placed, so you likely lose the nitro cell that came in the hands of Mira, providing that's what she brought.
Yeah.
Sure looks that way.
Impact grenades from Nesk and Palu. So once Member's gonna play on that church wall to try and deny any breaches. Also, of course, Nesk has that mirror window. Casey, though, has an angle on it. Bit of an oversight from Team Liquid, and that's gonna cause that mirror to be opened up, and Church now is gonna be under pressure.
Well, W7M very quickly determining that the map was theirs for the taking. A minute to roam clear. A minute to get the first pick, or a minute and a half, and now 4 remain of Liquid down below. W7M still searching for something that can give them their very first round. Talked about the utility of the defense, but it's also present for the attackers. Secondary hard breach in the hands of Herds has now been fully used. Gas canister tossed out. Nice shot from Herds, predicting Nesk as the peek from Church Wall goes through. Grenade tossed down as well, connects on to Lagonis. W7M so triumphant. JV the only one down, Hertz falters too. Palu's still in this position. Oh my God, he's so good. And he's got the last one lined up, but he's in a 1v2, 10 seconds left.
Oh, but a pistol.
Pistol out against the F2. This is gonna be dangerous. Relocating, running away. Julio down, and can KZ get him in time? No, he can't. Palu doesn't even need to get a kill. All he needs to do is play keep away.
And I told you, I mean, every single time Liquid's back's against the wall, it's Palu every single time saying, I'll take this round, boys. Double kill into pistol, plays the information, runs away. The experience. I mean, we always talk about Palu as one of the most lethal players that we have ever seen. Like, it's basically Nesk's child at this point, right? Except the age doesn't really add up. But in this circumstance, he plays the brain game. And I honestly think that somebody like Lagonis joining this roster, it brings us a little bit more depth to the team. When it comes to the structure, the strategy, how to approach rounds outside just your own gun barrel, and it's a beautiful showcasing. The only thing I didn't really like in that round is that the Gonis played smoke inside of dirt. I've been in that position, and it sucks. Because it's hard to fight with 17 bullets of the SMG-11. The shotgun, some people love it, some people hate it. But the thing that's a problem for me is that you cannot use your toxic babes efficiently or safely from the dirt position. The Gonis tried to swing out to throw a toxic babe after the first one expired, and he was met by a grenade. Because you gotta expose yourself to that door from dirt from the kitchen hatch and blue door to do so. So I think there's a couple things Liquid can change around to be more comfortable in basement, but that really doesn't matter right now because that bomb site's locked. They're not gonna go there again unless we see OT, and W7M have yet to put a round on the board. Now,
Device activated.
Palu, monster. On the bandit again, has that barbed wire that we spoke of previously, so there's no C4 for plant tonight. This is all on Legonis if W7M can even get into a plant position, because that's the problem. They never get there. It always gets shut down just moments before, seconds before. The setup right here is going to be an EMP into a grenade, it looks like, but we're waiting for the rotation so JV can enable his team. Combine that with the exothermic charge, and this wall should be opened up. Liquid, however, this time, they're not actively bandit tricking because the Palu almost died to a grenade previously, so they're going to play it safe, force out the utility, just open up the wall. It's one free EMP, one free grenade, nobody takes damage.
And a nade from below sails up just in case somebody from Liquid was holding on to that spot. Been talking so much about what could happen, we've overlooked the fact that there is a fuse on the board.
I'm still trying to figure out what that's for.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to wonder if the idea is to get inside a construction. Fuses cluster charges go through reinforcements now.
Yes.
I don't know how many people are watching this broadcast that have not played this Russian operator in a while, but the changes allow more flexibility. It also denies bandit tricking because those explosive pellets will go on in and almost certainly kill whoever's on the other side of the wall. Bad recoil control from KZ, but he still manages to take out a bunch of Ask's life. Fuse in this position. Ask will have to get on the ground, an army crawl on. Oh, grenade goes in.
What?
More damage is done. How do you miss out on the sledge? You don't even see him now. He does. First kill goes to W7M, but it's answered back within seconds. First cluster charge goes off. At least it sounds like it. No casualties.
I can't believe Ask got away with that. Now Julio has to, frustratingly so, trying to flashbang his position, push up that staircase, but it's not going to be easy.
JV goes down to Nesk. W7M are just finding their fate at the hands of Liquid. The fuse of KZ getting Ask what little was remaining up on Catwalk. What can you do with the final 40 seconds here? Team Liquid primed and ready for a 6-0 first half. Julio will use the cluster charge to take up more space. The B bomb site inside of CCTV has been completely surrendered. Now all of W7M will have to storm in from the same position. Liquid far enough back inside of Cash. What little remains of KZ is what stands between Julio with the diffuser and the three players from Liquid. KZ hits the dirt, so does Lagonis. It's a 2v2. Liquid need to wait this one out. Julio rushing to line, takes matters into his own hands. Palu will need to clutch. He's been mighty fine, and he needs to stop Julio, but that's W7M to deny the 6-0 half as he takes matters into his own hands and slays the dragon of Palu.
It seemed like Nesk had an easy job. He was downstairs, the floor was broken below Julio's feet. Julio, however, because he's in that plant position, he's looking straight down at him. So he got the kill instead. Ask somehow staying alive for so long on the catwalk. Right there. Julio getting that kill defines the entire round. Paul was presuming, or assuming rather, that Julio was going to stick that plan because he's rather far into it. 4 or 5 seconds through, 1 or 2 seconds left. It could have gone either way. That's those 50-50 moments that you're going to look back at this VOD after this match finishes, regardless of the outcome, and be like, I could have played that better, but that's hindsight 2020. Paolo thought he was going to stick it. He didn't. If Paolo had run back towards the bomb site and Julio sticks it, Julio is still in the prime position. So it's because that Julio and W7M could get themselves in that position in the first place that they get to control the outcome of that round. They get to make the decisions now for the first time this entire match so far. Now the side swap comes through. Now Liquid has to attack against a very aggressive W7M. They're going to start in the basement with what I said earlier, the quote-unquote SSG basement roam strat with Kaz and Mute and Mossy. We're going to see spawn peaks. We're going to see them challenge Liquid on every single area of the map at all times. And the question for Liquid is, can they make it into the building 5 versus 5? Otherwise, it's probably not going to bode well for them. Every single operator right now for Liquid is so important to the execute. Only one heart breacher. Sure, Ying has those secondary heart breach canisters, which are great for hatches, bad for walls. Then you have nades, and soft lock and Sophia, or soft breach and Sophia rather. So if Liquid loses any members, it's a lot of value lost and a lot gained for W7M.
To mention the fact that you've got these Candelas at play, I'm curious as to the 4 Claymores that Liquid is bringing along to this bomb site. It's a downstairs hold.
It's not really many plays you can jump out of, so I would agree with you.
I mean, maybe you want to throw one out. If you think that they might go for a run out on Jim, maybe do that. Maybe a kitchen door, maybe put one by in the very most common spot when attacking this bomb site, which is the top of those stairs, the ladder rather.
Oh yeah, garage, yeah.
Oh my, Palu's just in.
Sending it.
Lagonis takes out JV. Palu's in the midst of the bomb site.
There's no rotates.
There's no rotates at all. Through the wall, down goes Herds. Nade in hand, ready. The last 3 players from W7M all sequestered towards blue, but Liquid doesn't have that intel. Diffuser in hand for Lagonis, almost going down. KZ needs to get back in, and he throws out his Nitro Cell, but the nade from Palu is true. And there's yet another. What the hell is going on for Liquid? Palu is playing at a level that we have not seen in an international match in so long. That's 6 kills since we re-hosted. Not 6 kills through 7 rounds, which in and of itself is good. What do you do if you're Julio? Take the engagement to Palu, get a relatively easy kill. Nice play on the resets. Or, now it's Julio putting up a beautiful body of work together, but he can't get past Ask. Liquid move to match point. Beautiful stuff.
That entire round has about as many highlight montage kill clips as like full-on games. All of 2 players. Paolo from Liquid, Julio from W7M. I mean, look at these shots. Bam, and then boom. Beautiful SMG11 in action. Of course, Latam, known as like the region to utilize that gun in particular. But I can't get over, and I'm not gonna get tired of saying Paolo's name, but it is ridiculous. The performance, the accuracy, the consistency, and bringing it right now when Liquid needs to make a grand finals in map number 1. Because there has been questions where when Team Liquid looked the weakest throughout this tournament and group stage was when Nesk and or Palu weren't really showing up. And it's always pretty much been the story for Liquid. If they show up on the scoreboard, odds are Liquid for a great run. When you say the same for BDS, if Shaiku or Leakyfac are having a great game on the scoreboard, odds are BDS are winning. But there's 2 different ways to get on the board so consistently. One is that you are an incredibly mechanically talented player, which all of those players just mentioned are. So are the members of W7M, KC, Volps, JV, Hertz, all of them. Even Julio as a support player, all mechanically talented. But the supportive teamwork that goes on behind the scenes, the drone, the information, the shot calling, taking pressure off Paolo's brain to enable his aim further, because odds are Paolo, he has most decisions made for him strategically. He just has to focus on how he approaches his one-on-ones. We see it time and time again. His nade usage last round as well, finding that kill, slowing down the retake. It's been near perfect.
He's just on another level right now.
Right now he is.
Palu is just dominating this matchup, taking control. Reunited with that sledge roll as Liquid will open up one of the walls leading into construction. It's a gym hold. This is the bomb site that we have seen tied with Church now for most frequency.
Not surprised. Gym over CC, typically the last 2 years of Clubhouse, has slowly taken over. Whereas in the beginning of Clubhouse and competitive play was always CCTV, always Inferber. Everybody loved that bomb side. But with the introduction of operators like Maverick and Mayor being banned more frequent and stuff, we see less and less play on that particular bomb side. Liquid, I believe they get the wall right here. Hertz tried to challenge and slow Liquid down, but a successful clear of the Bandit means the wall gets opened up. KC reinforces that second bathroom wall to play a more passive approach to the bomb side, forcing Liquid to spend more hard breach utility and more EMPs and or frag grenades to open up the bathroom wall, allowing Bandit a second line of defense. That's really smart and very dynamic play from them.
They still got 2 reinforcements as well. Nick, if they want to go for a wall that they don't like, maybe inside of Logi. It's a nice drone from Ness, gaining a lot of visibility. hasn't been spotted out there at will by the Azami of KZ. Palu down below, searching for any of the offsite players for W7M. W7M have only lost 2 maps in many, many months now. I think we have to go all the way back to September in order to see the last time they actually lost a map, let alone a series. That 18-match streak is in jeopardy if they go down on their very first map. And not just any map, but the one that W7M picked themselves. 40 seconds right now will define this series. And Liquid get in, get the diffuser planted, pick off the players from W7M. Right now, W7M doesn't really have any pressure being applied to them. Resets might not be aware that one of those players sits on his right. He walks in, taken out from inside of weight room 2. Quick kills from W7M, but that'll be it. Ness gets 1, but then the guns come alive, leaving Palu in a 1v4. They soften up by the gas, and Volps hops on over and denies the match in favor of Liquid, as there's still a pulse on the corpse of W7M here on Clubhouse.
Again, that's that gym bomb site defense. It's really hard as an attacker to find any foothold on the attack. I mean, you get the breach open, sure. You get a member in the windows, again, sure. But no one's actually in the building applying that pressure that you spoke about, Parker. We're all outside kind of waiting for someone to swing us and peek us. Doesn't happen. So what do? Well, timer is 20 seconds. Now you get a rush on in with no live information, because that drone that Ness had earlier, it showed 3 members of W7M. Once that drone got shot inside a gym, they had no information to work with. So when they had to actually walk in the breach, well, an easy player or a player easily hiding in the corner makes a very big difference for the defenders. Now we're going through those bomb sites. Basement up next. Again, we're playing these more utility-oriented bomb sites. And again, utility-oriented operators, Maestro, Wamai, Asami, Demira. And of course, you gotta bring Toxic Babes every single round, because it means you can utilize the time against your opponent. When the clock hits 30 seconds, if you have 3 Toxic Babes left, the clock is basically 0 in one part of the map where you cannot execute, you cannot really go unless you were to push through a Toxic Canister, which is not recommended ever. Now, if you've killed Smoke, or you don't play the Smoke, you have more time to work with. And frankly, that's also why Goyo is seeing more play in competitive Pro League right now, because it works in that same fashion. Put down a canister, and if somebody wants to buy time for your team or for a certain position, you buy 30 seconds, just then and there.
Have you seen if there's a blue rotate this time, by the way? Because we're back downstairs. Oh. Palu engaging with 2 separate players from W7M, taking an awful lot of damage. He's just got a whisper of HP. You want to keep Palu alive as long as possible. He's been so fine in this matchup. Yes, there is a rotate in blue, so question answered. Thank you, spectators.
I mean, at this point, do you play Finka to keep people alive? Because this chip damage is brutal.
Is that chip damage? He has 10 HP.
Yeah, I mean, 3 Adrenal Surges, you're basically back to 80? Then it's chip damage, I suppose. I don't know. You're right, though. In this case, it won't make or break a difference here. Palu, being the only vertical operator as well, with the exception of like Sophia's gadget, has to do a lot of work inside a kitchen if Liquid wants to do anything with that hatch. Blue has been a big focus of W7M. Mirror windows protecting both Church and Blue itself. Liquid cannot attack it and pick it apart or avoid it entirely, but that depends on how their Heartbreach gadgets, A, where they get used, and B, if they go off successfully, because there are 5 impact grenades and a C4 from W7M.
The thing is one of those impact grenades through the floor will kill Palu.
Absolutely.
A Nitro Cell certainly will, but even an impact, if Palu, who was playing upstairs in kitchen, tries to get some of that floor opened up, can be picked up very easily. Resets, dies to Volps' toxic gas as it's thrown through the hatch that we saw the Yana sitting by. Resets not exactly having the best success so far. Julio and Nitro Cell primed and ready, looking for the lineup.
Oh boy, that's beautiful.
There he goes, he gets it. You'll be able to see it. Triangulation.
Yep.
But he's got it.
It's the bottom main stairs there. There's different ways to line it up. That's a new one for me. I do it by the bar usually.
You don't do it at all. You don't play at this level. Candela goes out by Ask. JV blinded, but That bullet hose of the Alda will just spray out, and JV prevails in the engagement. 2 picks for W7M, 30 seconds to go. The defenders having a great stead. Nesk has been spotted through the black mirror. He can't deal with the Wamai of Herds. Everything falling apart for Team Liquid. The ghost of Palu still upstairs. He's the last one standing.
15 seconds left.
Took all that damage at the beginning, but he's just gonna waste time. You know you're not gonna find 5 of your adversaries. You might as well just deny them that flawless round. They will win the round flawlessly, though.
Yeah.
Even though there's been quite a lot of damage done. W7M keeping this interesting. After Team Liquid stormed out to a 5-0 lead, W7M have taken 3 of the last 4 and are putting together an impressive performance on defense.
This round that's about to come onto your screens is going to be very important for both of these teams. It's a tertiary bomb site defense for W7M, which statistically is the easiest one to attack against and the hardest to defend, obviously favoring Team Liquid. They're gonna go with CCTV. Bar is not gonna be showcased from either team so far. And if Liquid fails to attack, well then things get tough, because then Gym opens up next, followed by Basement again. And that's where Liquid could not find any success. So their best options right now is to heavily target this bomb site. And actually, there's a part of me that wanted to see a tactical timeout from Liquid to fully discuss how they wanted to attack either Bar or CCTV and talk it through. But the issue with taking that timeout is that you also give W7M time to also think about what they can change. And Liquid, they already burned the opponent's timeout back in round number 3, so you don't want to give them that time to think and breathe. Instead, they're going to take these 30 seconds of prep phase, talk it out. Ask was hovering the Monty. That's to take the garage control absolutely for free by just walking up that staircase, but he changes the approach. And I think that's a bit of a problem here, because if you don't have the EMPs on Thatcher, it can be very tricky to get that initial CCT wall opened up. Now you could play Monty with secondary EMPs, you could change Nesk from Flores onto Thatcher if it was up to me, because then you can both do the Monty garage attack while still working the breach. Now we're kind of choosing one or the other. And I mean, the breach is very important, the most important step in this entire strategy. But how are you going to deal with step number 2?
Oh, there it is. Julio's able to get one of the walls electrified, but still losing out.
Basically trade, right? You sell on one wall, exothermic charge the other. Bandit chooses which one. Obviously, the exothermic charge is a higher value because bigger breach. So, right decision from the Bandit trick. And Liquid, they're just heavy trading out that utility because they got what they wanted.
Julio scampered off of that point to the top of red stairs. He had gone, but now farther back. Looks like inside a bedroom. Time for the Rotero drones to be called into action from Nesk. And the soft wall and construction will be blown wide open. That could expose both Julio and Herds, but Herds back inside of CCTV, plugging some of that hole that was created by the Salma with the Kiba barriers. One of the intended ways for Azami to be used. We don't see it that often, though. Azami has largely been used to create mobile deployable shields instead of patching the holes that are made from the hard breach. Teams instead favoring utility to keep them safe off the bomb site.
Small detail for Liquid here. Nobody's on that CCTV breach they opened up earlier because they don't want to have any isolated members who could get swung by W7M. But speaking of isolated, Nesk was isolated inside of construction, took that a very aggressive engagement and got punished for it. And now Liquid, they're in a dire position. No openings, limited map control. They have yet to get that second wall opened up. And now things are slowly closing in as W7M, they realize what the strategy and approach is here for Liquid.
Alu's been scared away from his position because KZ wants to harass them down in stock. Back up to the top of red, he will go right next to Julio. Sounds like another exothermic charge will go off. A Kiba barrier will plug that hole as well. W7M using this utility masterfully to keep Liquid at bay. Also give them a little bit of cover inside of this bomb site, allowing Herds to play freely towards construction and onwards. Oh, 8 sails down below, 30 seconds left. And a pre-fire from Herds will be heard by resets. Liquid trying to walk in, but Volps takes down Lagonis. Liquid not being able to put much on the board these last 3 rounds. Can they break it? as they are right now being held to match point. Reset's walking in, there goes KZ. Reset saw another, he'll get swung from 2 separate angles. W7M stacking up on it, it's Ask outside of the breach, picking up a big kill, but what more can he accomplish as the time goes down to 0? Nothing, he stays alive, and W7M have won 3 in a row. They are very quickly eating away at this lead that Liquid established early on.
In the TSM matchup yesterday, we spoke about how the Capcan traps were a very big problem for both teams, and in this matchup, it's the keeper barriers. The Asami going unbanned in this matchup has been proven to be very difficult to attack against, and it's forcing out the Flores, 2 sets of grenades, etc. But even when teams are bringing all this utility, they're not always in the right position to use it, right? Nesk wasn't the Flores, he died with 3 red terror drones in his pocket. That could have cleared those keeper barriers, but he was also the injured player in construction taking initial map control, and Liquid, they've been forced into a position that they weren't really happy to go to, and that is they gotta burn their time out now to figure things out before overtime, otherwise things are gonna drag out. And that means W7M can also talk to their coach, and I mean, if you win 3 in a row, you got the momentum, you're feeling better. Of course, they know one mistake is gonna cost you Clubhouse, because you are and you have been on match point for a long time at this moment. And they got additions to make. What bomb set to go to next? It's bar or gym. If they win gym, basement or bar, it opens up one by one. Things are only gonna get more difficult for Liquid, because with how these bombs are opening up, it heavily favors W7M. And they're going for a very different approach. I mean, we see it. Goyo on the board now. Castle, more utility. Of course, JV on the Asami has to go time and time again, because the value that we see, how much Liquid's struggling against it, you'd be a fool not to bring it.
Now that Palu's slowed down as well, Team Liquid struggles offensively have been very noticeable. Those last 3 rounds that W7M have prevailed on, they got the first blood in every single round, and they denied Liquid more than a couple kills.
10 seconds left.
That's been a great 3-round showing. Team Liquid were able to do 1 full cycle themselves. W7M just matched it, of course.
Not many plans this match either. Really, no. I have 1 plant going down. It's like the very last second as well. It didn't really make a difference. That was Liquid's like Paolo rush round where he got 4 kills, and then Julio matched with 3 incredible kills as well. It has been an explosive matchup, all coming down to kills in the last final seconds, despite both teams actually trying and intending to try and get that diffuser down. It hasn't happened yet, with that 1 exception. C4 goes off from Julio. Not really relevant right now. Casey has a spare in pocket as well. Paolo stays alive, but takes a little tiny fraction of damage.
Oh. This Herds is positioned down inside of the kitchen. Playing on that hatch, it looked like. Liquid still on the roof, working discoveries. This is an attempt towards Jim. You pointed it out, W7M's denial that they had before with Bandit is no more. Instead, allow Team Liquid clear passage into the bomb site. Beat them in whatever engagement may come. Nitro cells lined up, ready to rock. It's towards the jacuzzi breach. I wonder if it's being watched by the bulletproof camera that Herds brought with him. Nitro cell tossed out, ripped! Oh. And it does significant damage. Down goes Resets. Lagonis injured by it as well. Nesk is no more, but look at Lagonis. Unable to secure, gets swung on. JV picked off. Volp still bleeding out. It was a good start from W7M, but Liquid able to keep pace. There goes what was remaining of Volps as he crawled across the ground. Julio has the angle. If Liquid tries to break from that Logi, they'll be spotted on that main stairs landing. Knew that there was a shotgun player in the bathroom. Oh, they're gonna give him time, work with. Herds, who was playing downstairs in kitchen, eager to get back to the bomb site. KZ sustaining some serious damage, and Palu has the read on this. Takes the head right off of Herds. It's Julio down for the count. KZ with 1 HP, won't go anywhere. Well, W7M seemed to be quite confident, but Liquid toyed with them for a little bit and ultimately came back in fine form. They steal W7M's map 7-4 and go up 1-0 in this series.
The patience and discipline in that final round, taking a big breather on the bomb side as the attacking team, not moving a muscle, getting drones set up, just shows Liquid's playstyle, and it changed the pace. It started a rush,